The reason for this meeting is because we were served with recall petitions to remove Patrick Tardif and Marianne Coward from the board. The petitions were received from Pebble Beach and Monterey, which constitutes a quorum. The purpose of this meeting today is to certify the recall, so I would ask that you hold your order comments until we are voting on the subject. Okay, set aside. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum present of the board, and I believe Ali is on speakerphone, correct?
Yes,
Can you hear us okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Proof of notice was posted 48 hours prior to the meeting. And with that, we'll move on to the recall. As stated prior, we have received 2 recall petitions to remove Patrick Tardif and Marianne Coward. I would ask for a motion from the board to certify the recall that was received. We'll go into a second and then we'll open for discussion.
I make a motion to certify the removal of Patrick Tardif and Marianne Coward from the board.
Do you have a second? Second.
Aye.
Okay. Any discussion? And we'll go around. Go ahead, Marianne. We'll start this way.
Well, first I'd like to say that Patrick's been on the board for 6 years, and he's really done an amazing job. You can't hear me.
Turn off the volume.
Let me try this.
Yes.
Okay, so first I'd like to say a big thank you to Patrick Tardif, who faithfully and dedicatedly served on our board for 6 years. He has really been an asset to this community, and he is a wonderful, ethical, kind man. Second, we are governed by the LLCA documents. It makes it very complex. And I'm going to try to speak louder and sit down so I can look at my notes. So how it basically works is that 2 people in this room control an $800,000 budget. It's controlled by, at this point, Diane down at the end and Ali on the phone. The future board members, if they decide to replace us, can be removed, just like we are being removed because they decide they don't like those people.
Wrong.
The future
Molly,
meeting,
you're a coward for not being here.
Hold your comments.
in the future, we all together must come to these meetings to protect our $800,000 budget so that spending is accounted for. This is a voluntary position. No one here gets paid to do it. And let me tell you, the past 90 days have been pure hell. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you for all the phone calls, the many phone calls, the texts, the emails, the knocking on my door. I would like to say thank you to all of you for all of your support. I can't tell you how important and meaningful it is. Thank you again.
Moving along, Ellen. You want me to speak? Or you want to go left? Left, okay.
I don't have anything at this moment.
Okay, Patrick?
Okay, so to me, this is a long time coming. Since I got on this board, almost 6 years ago. Within 6 months, I knew that this day would come. I just didn't know when it was here. Now that it's here, I'm almost thankful. Because it's been a long drudgery of crap. You have no idea the amount of crap. If someone doesn't like you, that they can just pick up and throw at you and keep throwing and throwing. And it'd be one thing if it was just me. But when you take the family into consideration, that's off bounds. And it should be from this point forward. For anyone else that has to deal with this, family should be off bounds. However, it is proven not to be the point. Secondly, I would like to thank Marianne for her time. She served with us in the very beginning for 2 years, and then again, this time it was as president, and she got to see what it's like. It's just a constant barrage. I told her the job itself, you do that. but it's the constant barrage of a circus that just keeps coming and coming that makes this job very difficult. And it really doesn't have to be that way. A lot of it has to do with our documents. If we had just changed the documents, we'd be all right. However, I actually cast a deciding vote against changing the documents 5 years ago. We had it all set up. It's all ready to dust off at any point. But I was on the Pebble Beach Board at the time, and Pebble Beach Board chose not to go for the particular writings that we had from a lawyer. So at that time, as the certificate member, I had to vote no against my own judgment, and I still had to do it. Anyway, what Mary Ann is saying is true. You really need to show up more. I mean, you all have a lot of money tied up here, right? And it's a constant thing. Just like any stock, you daily take care of your stocks. You look at your stocks daily, monthly, whatever. However you do it, you still take care of your earnings. Well, this is an earning. You know, it's probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life, or one of the very biggest. And it takes time. It would be worth the effort so that things like this can't happen, or shouldn't happen, or we should get together to make them so that it can't happen again. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Ali, do you have any comments?
The 10 points on that, you recall Mary Ann last year and I was against it. The reason you told me why they recalled her, because your community didn't want her. So now I'm really surprised you thanking her, I don't know for what. This gentleman, in 4 years, he issued only 4 emails. He never really wrote an email to us, never participated in any discussion, ever. And for Mary Ann, she told me a story that she's going to do a lot of things. She did nothing. Everything we did the first month, motion, vote by vote. Everyone passed the motion. Now, 1 month later, you have 2 pages long of agenda. Nothing accomplished. Because either you sing the song, walk the walk, and otherwise nothing accomplished. And I will never walk the walk, never sing the song. Thank you. I am for the homeowner.
Okay, I have a few things to say about the voting system, because it is fundamentally unfair to every resident that lives in this community. Currently, just a few residents get to decide the operations of the Laguna Lakes, and this is unfair to all the other dues-paying residents. The voting system is unbalanced, unfair, and favors certain parcels. It only takes 2 parcels to form an alliance to take control of all LL operations. This is unfair. You will hear the word unfair coming through every time, almost in a sentence, because that is unfair. Whether this is a proper recall or not, that is not something that I have been able to decide. But the unfairness of the whole system, it boggles the mind that it is still in place, that it has not been removed much sooner. And I hope that this is a wake-up call to the residents of Laguna Lakes, that they bond together and change the documents so that each parcel has the right to select their own representative to the board, and then the board can pick the representative at large. But the parcel should decide who is going to sit on the LLCA board, and not the majority of the vote of the members. And I will tell you that has happened in the past. It happened to me personally. I was chosen by Beverly Hills to sit on the board, and there was another person they nominated from the floor, And they actually, because of the voting system and the majority of vote, that person was elected and not I, who was going to be appointed by the Beverly Hills Board. I think that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. So I think it is time that we review our voting system and make changes to one unit, one vote to elect your representative to the board, and the board can then vote to the director at large. You know, I am very saddened by this whole process because we can sit here, we can point fingers, okay? But remember, we were elected in January. Okay, we had a board meeting in February and one in March. Can you please tell me how you can possibly get everything done when you have to get quotes? That you have to, if you're going to build something, you better get some building inspections, regulations. You better get the county involved. You better get the specs that need to be required. I mean, and then in March, we had no meeting. So this whole thing about the board not doing anything, not getting anything done, is just a bunch of hogwash. Okay? 2 meetings, and we are supposed to solve all the problems of Laguna Lakes and come up with every project that is now going to be done and scheduled going forward without proper review, and if there's even money. I mean, there have been projects recommended like lighting at night for swimming. I yet have to see a budget. I yet have to see a figure about that. Did anybody go out and get bids for that? So we could actually see that we can afford it? And what if it's not in the operating budget? Are we going to rob now our reserves? Is that what's going to happen?
No.
Are we going to get bankrupt before this year is out? Those are my concerns, and I have legitimate concerns. I understand finance. Again, unfair voting practices. That's all I have to say.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Okay, I'd like to speak.
Okay.
First and foremost, the voting members do have a right to recall anytime for any reason. However, in this case, we believe that the members subject to this recall have not managed our association from an operational or fiduciary standpoint. This also, in fact, is just not the opinion of the voting members or reps. This is, in fact, the opinions of many, many residents that have expressed their concerns going back for several years. So this did not just all of a sudden come up and just not fester all of a sudden the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, okay? This has been an ongoing issue and an ongoing concern, and there's going to be some information forthcoming to all of the members of the entire community. And when you hear and see some of the information, I think that you may not sit here and applaud so much for some members that are sitting up here, so.
Could you tell me who's speaking?
Diane is currently speaking.
So that's all I have to say at this point, but please be patient for a few days and you will have information forthcoming. And as we progress along together as a community, you will see some of the wrongdoings that have occurred and some of the monies that have been spent. So please just give us a little bit of time to get that information out to you. That's all I ask of you. From that point, you can make your own decisions. Thank you.
All in favor of the certifying the recall, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ali?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. And we're moving on. Go ahead. We have homeowner comments on the agenda, so I'll go ahead and read off the list here. Mr. Wessler?
Yes, quickly. In case people don't know, there's a new state law which allows the 2 partial representatives with the majority votes to do this and avoid the documentation of our LLCA master declaration, the bylaws, that call for any director other than a director appointed by the declarant, which was Transeastern, may be removed with or without cause by members having a majority of the votes of the entire membership at a special meeting of the members are the four partials, called by members not having less than 33 and 1/3% of the votes of the entire membership expressly for that purpose. The vacancy on the board caused by any such removal may be filled by the members at such meeting, or if the members fail to fill such vacancy, by the board as in case of any other vacancy on the board. The only vacancy on the board that calls for the board members to remove a director is if that director misses 3 consecutive meetings. Now, they have their private attorney, Diane's private attorney sitting here that brought up, that's how they got the New York State law. But that totally avoids open transparency, open communication to all residents, unit owners of Laguna Lakes. It's 2 people in a room deciding this, period. That's why when I was a certificate holder, I was adamant about all unit owners being able to vote for the LLCA board, which Pebble Beach denied the community. And I will be making sure you abide by the documents and the state law, as well, I'm sure, many members in the room. And on a side note, Ali, I know quite a few veterans that want to talk to you about American flag when you come back from Canada.
That's a wrong comment. The American flags were never taken down to disrespect veterans. My father's a Vietnam Purple Heart vet. It was taken down because they're using them to take away crap from the animals that crap in the pool out there, and they have owls underneath them. Children are pulling at the flags daily, and there's not lights under them that are required by the statutes. Am I right, Michael? That is why they were taken down. It absolutely unequivocally never, ever was taken down for any other reason. And I even told Bill Shea, who does some work for the community, and he quit initially because of that. I met up with him over the weekend, and I asked him, why did you quit? He told me because of that. I said, Bill, didn't they tell you that's not why? He said, no, they never did tell me that was the real truth. And that is the truth of why they were taken down, because it's illegal the way they are hung right now. They're being, and as a matter of fact, I believe, okay, I don't want to hang myself out, but I believe either Marianne or Erica and the pool guy went, yay, I'm dancing the happy dance now because the flags are now back and I don't have to clean the poop up from the birds, okay? So that's why they were taken down, in respect of our veterans, not in disrespect of.
And why didn't you fix it? They're working.
You better get your facts straight.
Pure example of open communication to.
Oh, there was open communication. I can send you 100 emails that went to other members of the board that Ally and I tried to communicate with and say that it was wrong.
When you decided.
Okay, point of order regarding public comments.
Oh, no.
You're wrong, I was at the same meeting.
Excuse me, I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you.
You don't have the floor.
You don't have the floor.
I know.
Okay, Mr. Hartel Bascom?
Where do you sign up for owner's comments? Where do you sign up if you want to have an owner's comment?
You got a comment?
This gentleman does, but I don't sign up. I got a couple. I'll ask this gentleman your question.
What, sir?
Okay, I'd like a full explanation as to the reasons for the recall.
I don't know the reason, but per Florida statute, the reason does not need to be given. So a director can be removed with or without cause.
That's baloney. That is stupid. So you're saying that we don't, it isn't a way for us to have any kind of reason, for any kind of recall. You don't have to be forthcoming with any kind of reason that you can recall somebody and not give us. That's baloney. That's baloney. That's baloney.
For your documents, if you want a statute, that has no problem. Do you have any other questions?
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
Okay. Jeff Kelly? Mr. Jeff Kelly?
My name is saying my question was, what's the reason for the removal of the two people on the board?
I feel like.
I do not know the reason.
I made a statement and I said I promised everybody that you will be in the very near future receiving some information.
Why not?
Because I can't discuss it tonight.
What did the petition say? Nothing.
There is no reason. You do not have to give a reason to do the petition for a recall.
So you don't believe liars?
Pat? Lynn? You're up, Pat.
Well, first I want to say, Ollie, what a coward that you couldn't stay an extra week to come to this meeting since you started.
First of all, Al is not a coward. He did more for this community in the past 4 months than any of these other people did.
Why are you so defensive and so angry?
Well, why are you so defensive and so angry?
I'm just saying.
You're venting your anger at somebody who went home.
And the members have a right to the comments without interruption.
Danielle, let her talk.
You're not even on here, so I'm not even sure what your role is in all of
She
this.
is on here.
What
She's
is
a
her
resident.
role in all of this?
I am the resident, Pat, and I
And I
happen to
am
know
all
a lot
residents,
more
so why
facts
are
than
we
you
calling
do.
those two?
I'd just like to say, this is how they've acted for 3 months.
Wait a minute, did you see me throw my books across the table at the last board meeting? Did you see me make fun of an Italian gentleman? Wasn't me.
It's on her comments right now.
Hey, well, she just said something, so I was looking at her.
Oh, he said she said.
I think it's very unclear what's going on. There really is no reason for this. I'm just not sure. I don't know what it is that these people are seeking to do. The community is beautiful. Everything is done. I'm just not sure what the agenda is. It should make all of you kind of think about it and wonder what's going on here. It's very, very bad. Just look at the hostility among them.
Pat and Ed, I can't read the last name.
Never mind.
Julie Hawk.
I just want to say that I think we're recalling the wrong board members here.
Right.
And I have lived through the inception of this community, and I have never seen anything so ridiculous in my life. And for a board member to sit there and say, oh, we'll let you know why in the coming days.
How many years did we sit when we asked the master board about the lawsuit that we sat and waited? I think 5 years, hello.
See, not this.
Because I'm trying to tell you, you're accusing us, you know?
It's on her comments.
Come on, I need to tell people to shut up.
Very unprofessional.
Mr. McHenry.
I didn't have that comment, I thought we took this on.
Patricia, Larry.
No, I just don't think it's saying.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Tori and Phil Borden.
It's Tony and Phil Bordino, we thought we were all signed in.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Bob and Shirley. Jonathan Luce. Oh,
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all coming. And this is going to be a perfect illustration of what a small faction in the community, mostly in Pebble Beach, can have an impact on all of us in our community. Now, Diane has alleged that there were some problems in spending over the last 5 years. I was a treasurer the last 5 years, and every year we ended our year with a surplus. Every year we used our operating, we used our budget, we used it appropriately.
No,
And-
comments, Ellie.
And where we needed to use reserve funds, such as for the gym, redoing the deck and the swimming pool, we did it. We did not take reserve funds at all to be used for operating expenses, as there have been some issues within the community. Now, we have a board, we had an election. The election was handled in January, and people were elected. Now, every year we've done that, and on a board, not everybody agrees with everything, not everybody votes for everything. There are disagreements, that's normal, but the disagreements never rise to the level of wanting to remove board members so that a minority in this community can take control of a board when we have a fairly elected board, whether they agree or not. If there's a majority on the board, the majority of the board has the right to rule. And if the majority of the board feels some projects are worth voting for, then they'll vote for them. If they're not, then they won't. And it's up to those members of the board who don't agree with the majority to provide them with information that provides them with the basis for changing their minds. Now, we don't, because the minority on the board apparently doesn't have the logic or have the reasons or the background to be able to support their positions on the board, the only way they feel they can do it is to remove 2 members of the board so then they can elect and put on the board in their place people who agree with them. Now, that's not quite the way either our declarations work, and really it's not too much of the way that a democracy really works either. Now, let me speak also to this question. How many of you in here are veterans? How many? Okay. Okay. Yes, it is true, as you point out, that there should be a light on the flag. Well, that's not always done. It's not always done every place. It should be done. That's nice.
3 minutes and over.
No reason, thank you very much, Ollie. No reason why.
Hold on 1 second. I'm up next. I'm John Bruce. I'm on the list. I'll yield my 3 minutes to Bob.
Okay, no reason why the American flag should be taken down for any reason. For any reason.
I'm a veteran, and I don't like the flag with no lights at night time when it pours rain and tide.
Did you put your name down to speak?
Well, your time's up. You've been on for
That's what
2
you
minutes.
just gave me.
I yielded 3
No,
minutes.
you don't get time to go.
Yes, you
In other words, you
But
don't.
yeah, see, every time you don't follow the rules, Bob, that's why you didn't get elected.
I'll yield 3 minutes.
Bob, don't let them go on you.
Jonathan Brusa.
I'm yielding my 3 minutes to Bob Hennis. He's on a roll. I agree with most of what he's saying. A lot of people agree with what he's saying. And those of you that know me know that I won't be able to talk for 3 minutes. I've got a lot to say. I'll say it in the upcoming months. I'll continue to say it. Been saying it for 10 years in this community. Everybody in this community pays their dues to the LLCA. Remember that. You pay your assessments to the LLCA. At the least you should have is the right to vote for the people that are being custodians and stewards of your money. You have it in your parcel associations. You should demand it of the LLCA. And I will work tirelessly over the next few months to find ways to get you that right.
Really, what I've said has been said, and I think that what we need to do is do anything we can to reject this recall and have the board function as a board. And if the minority doesn't like what's going on, then let them present programs, present them for the reasons, and let them present budgets and plans so that the rest of the board has the same information and they can decide whether they want to go along with it or not. So thank you. Oh, me? I don't need the floor up there. In reference to what you were saying after you, I don't know what step was after, but you were saying about, you bordered on saying there was malfeasance being done, money spent incorrectly, things not getting done, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if this was a board, the board and union have to agree to do things. But you're saying, in essence, it's just these two individuals that caused all these problems?
No, I did not.
That's what you implied.
No, I did not just say that.
Oh,
I
then
did not. I did not just say those two, is what I'm saying. The reasons that we're recalling those two is we're allowed to do that at will, so.
well, if things weren't getting done, you're saying money is being misspent, why aren't you recalling others? Other than just these two?
Because the other ones don't need to be recalled.
So these two aren't the problem? I don't
At this
even,
moment,
I don't even know these two.
we
What-
chose,
what are you from?
we
Which-
chose to recall.
Who's we?
Me, where am I from?
Yeah,
That was each.
Pebble and you,
I'm from Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara?
Yes, sir.
So there's different localities, I mean, I'm where I'm at, but, so you're saying, are you done?
Yeah, I am now.
Okay, thank you, this.
You're very welcome. Don't mention it.
So why are you calling this two if there's been a lot of money misspent,
I'm
things
not
going
going
wrong?
into that detail at this point. I told everybody, and I'm telling you honestly, that there will be.
Okay, a different approach then. What, may I have your attention rather than I have the floor? What have these two done that was wrong?
I'm not going into that detail, however, I will say, based on when Patrick was speaking about Mary Ann, and he's worked with her for 5 years, again, like Ally wanted everybody to hear, was last year Patrick kicked Mary Ann off the board. Mary Ann,
Which one's Mary Ann, dear Mary Ann? Which one's Mary Ann? No. So you kicked her off the board?
No, she was never on the board.
So you two are being recalled. Is it official now they're off the board? And the vote was just among the other board members?
You know, sir.
The rest of the board will have to appoint the empty seats that,
And how will you go about appointing? Will it be according to the,
the three remaining board members will
You'll
have to
just-
call another meeting.
you'll cherry pick who you want? That's what you're saying? There it is, folks.
And look what you got this.
There's still partial reps for each.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say one thing. You can read papers, you can listen to lies, but if any of you live here and don't truly want to learn the facts, then behave the way you're doing, okay? When I ran for the Pebble Beach Board, I showed them the facts. That's why we won as a landslide. When Bob and Patrick were on our board, he was removed from being a parcel rep because he did not comply by the Pebble Beach law, okay? It wasn't a personality conflict. If you don't follow the law, you should all be interested in knowing the facts.
Hey Sharon, this isn't Pebble Beach, this is the LLCA.
That is Bob and Patrick, we saved $148,000 just in Pebble Beach alone.
Oh, my
okay?
God.
Now, if none of you, Bob can live till he's purple, but if you want to know the truth, hang in there and you will find out the truth. We're not running a popularity contest, but
And why do you know all that when you're not even on the board?
that's right.
Why
majorly affect you. Beverly Hills right now gets 84 votes. I will give you an example. Pebble Beach gets 236 votes. Do you know, don't interrupt when the facts are coming out, okay? Do you know what they want?
3 minutes, Lord.
Hey, listen, pal. He had more than
I'm not
3.
your pal here.
Well, you're not mine either, but I'll be here longer if you stop interrupting. You apparently are afraid of the truth, aren't you? Now, they want us to have 1 vote per person, okay? Per parcel. Now, what do you think that might do? Did you ever think that Beverly Hills, maybe with only 84 votes, wants the bigger parcels to pay for the removal of their trees? Like possibly? It's a possibility, okay? Number 1, why the hell would Pebble Beach or Monterey want to diminish our voting rights from 236 to 1? Why? That would be ludicrous, and 2 lawyers told us it would be the worst thing that could ever happen to us. And he knew it. That's why he got thrown off the board. Now, if we throw somebody off the board, I will guarantee you it's for a reason, and we will prove the reason.
We have one more person that's signed up. We're done.
This is my fourth community in Fort Myers. What I heard tonight is very twisted logic, especially when you hear first time. Now we are talking about small community and big community. I lived in Belandi. We had so many communities. They disagreed, but we agreed at the end. I've never recalled any of the previous committees that I attended recall somebody. She has a twisted logic, in my opinion. I'm very blunt. How can you accuse her of something and then you say you later on provide proof? That's wrong. Excuse me, I'm speaking. I know your supporters, so let me speak. It's my turn. When I speak, challenging her right now, in front of everybody, to speak now. Why should we wait and send a bulletin? I want her to say now and we hear the facts. If there are facts, that's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
I'd like to address the American flags because I put on the last agenda that I wanted to discuss it. And there was a lot of emotions here tonight, and I'm the widow of a 100% disabled vet. I think that the flags can be relocated and be put in a more dignified manner. They don't need to be taken down. There's always a solution that we can take as a board and do that. So instead of having them right there in that particular corner with the owls, we could actually maybe put Laguna Lake flags there and put the American flag in a more dignified position. We can even put them on the wall where they kind of hang like this with a light underneath it. There are many options. I mean, we can really, appease everybody. But there's one more thing. The flag, excuse me, I have the floor. The flag by the clubhouse that is totally covered with trees duly needs to be removed and put at the front entrance with the proper lighting.
Can you get motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
That's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.